This is the ARGB CPU cooler that I have never seen anyone do a review video for on YouTube. So, I'm gonna do it myself. This video is sponsored by me, so if you enjoy the content and you're looking for a gaming computer and you live locally to me, then click on the description below and check out the computers I have for sale. Now let's get into the content. Hey, what is going on everybody? Welcome back to the most underrated tech channel. And in today's video, I will be comparing the deepcool UD551 AM4/5 socket only ARGB CPU cooler, which I do believe that there is an Intel version out there, but I couldn't find it, against a modern AMD stock cooler and a first and second generation Ryzen copper bottom stock cooler. For the test bench, I'll be using a Ryzen 5 5500 6 cores 12-threaded CPU on a B450M motherboard with 32GB of DDR4 memory and a 1TB NVMe SSD, as well as using an RTX 3060 Ti graphics card, which is all powered by a 650W 80+ gold and ZXT power supply. Now with the parts out of the way, let's get to the testing results. And something new I will be adding is the ambient temperatures, as it does impact the overall temperature results. Now before we get into the benchmarks, for the idle temperatures, on the deepcool UD551, it idled around 35 Celsius, which is only 1 degree lower than the non-copper stock cooler at 36 Celsius, and 2 degrees higher than the copper bottom stock cooler, which was at 33 Celsius. But do keep in mind that the ambient temperature when I was testing the deepcool cooler was 2 Celsius higher than when I tested the two stock coolers, which were at 24 Celsius. The first benchmark I did was run a Cinebench R23 10-minute run, and for the UD551, I got a multi-score of 10,620 with a max load temperature of 85 Celsius. As for the non-copper stock cooler, I got a score of 10,430 with a max load temperature of 85 Celsius also. Then for the copper stock cooler, I got a multi-score of 10,683, which was the highest score out of all three of the coolers, and a max load temperature of 77 Celsius. For the games, I tested in two different games, one of them being Valorant at the lowest setting and at the highest settings. And I picked Valorant because it's a very CPU intensive game. With that said, at the lowest settings, on the UD551, it was able to get an average of 277 FPS with a max load temperature of 56 Celsius. On the non-copper stock cooler, it was able to get an average of 285 FPS with a max temperature of 58 Celsius. And as for the copper stock cooler, it was able to get an average of 288 FPS with a max temperature of 50 Celsius. After that, I was curious, so I tested it all on Mech settings, and the results were actually pretty surprising. Because for a deepcool cooler, I was able to get an average of 285 FPS with a max temperature of 60 Celsius, which was also the same temperature I got when I was testing it with the non-copper stock cooler, but the average FPS was at 267 instead. And lastly, for the copper stock cooler, it is here where I found the results to be really surprising, because it got an average of 278 FPS with a max load temperature of 57 Celsius. And before you comment, I did test it back to back, so if any of you know what the reason is, please comment down below. Then after that, I decided to test in a GPU intensive game, which was Spider-Man Remastered for the PC, and I tested it all in very high settings, which on all the coolers got an average of 99 FPS, which I guess I shouldn't expect much because it's the same CPU and the same GPU. However, there was a huge max temperature difference between the copper cooler and the two non-copper coolers. The max low temperature for the copper cooler is only 51 Celsius, while the deepcool and the non-copper stock cooler got a max temperature of 57 Celsius, which is like a whole 6 Celsius difference. And so with these results, I could conclude the video by saying that I do not recommend you to go outside and buy this deepcool cooler, especially when it's not on sale at $25, unless you really want the RGB. Even so, for $25, you might as well just get the Filmora Assassin 120X ARGB coolers from Amazon. With that said, if you liked today's video, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. If you didn't, still give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Click on the video on screen right now to watch how a free CPU performs in 2023.